Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know what time you're listening. Those are my babies. That's Jordan and Emma. I didn't have any music to put in the intro, so I was like, let me let my kids sing something because those are my babies and they wanted to play around with the equipment. So I was like, sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and they did it, and it came through for me. But yeah, welcome to a safe space for men. Debut episode. I've been dragging my feet with this for Lord knows how long. I've been sitting on this equipment for months. Been playing around with it. I probably done recorded I want to say around 25 episodes so far, but just more so just trying to see my cadence, see how my voice sounds and everything like that, especially with the video. Also, more importantly, with the equipment, you can kind of block out background noises and everything. But I live in a pretty live neighborhood, so with the audio from the video, I'm gonna have to figure it out because you can kind of hear things when people drive by with music and stuff like that. But whatever, we here now. I've also been super busy. Haven't really had time to sit down and really focus on it. Doing a podcast is a lot of work, and I kind of knew it, but I didn't know how much work it was. A lot of research, just a lot of preparation. You just can't really sit down. Some people can, but I can't just sit down and just go blind, not have notes or anything like that, what I want to talk about. So June was pretty busy for me also. I had 3 birthdays, including mine. I had Jordan's birthday. She turned 4. She had a little something at school, which was nothing. The big 2 birthdays I did was my mom and my daughter. Gabby turned 16. Did a big Sweet 16 for her. It was pretty dope. Got to see a lot of family. She had a lot of fun. She was really happy. And if you know me, all I really care about is making my kids happy. So she enjoyed it. She got to be with her friends. She got to see some family, meet new family members that she didn't know she had. I want to say probably 75-80% of the people there was my folks and my family, which is really decent. I appreciate how they came out and just came out and showed love to my daughter. It really meant a lot, and it kind of launched us into the summer to where we started hanging out and stuff. My mom's birthday was about a week and a half later, on the 28th. I gave her a party on the 25th, the day after my birthday, because I refused to give her a party on my birthday. But I threw her a surprise birthday party here, and that was really cool because, again, a lot of my family showed up. I don't know how I did it. We probably had 60, 70 people here in my house, which probably can't even hold that many people, but we pulled it off. And it was a surprise. So she came in, she saw her brother she had seen for a year, and she just burst into tears because she was so happy to see him. And again, I don't know, as I get older, that's kind of what it's about. It's just giving back, making sure my kids are cool, my mom is cool, my family, being around my family. That's become really important to me because it really wasn't before. I kind of was just stuck into my immediate family, my kids and me, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of selfish if you think about it, but yeah, it was a really good party. And I got to see my mom. I'm 37. First time in my life I got to see my mom just dance. She was drinking her little wine coolers and stuff, but she was over here dancing and stuff, just getting her groove on, man. I'm happy I was able to provide it for her, be the person to give her that. So, yeah, June was busy, man. I had a lot to do, man. And the reason I've been so caught up, focused on spending time with family is because back in February, my uncle died, and that was the first time I saw a lot of my relatives on my mom's side, my grandma's side in a while, because we only seen each other at funerals. So right then and there, I was just like, man, we got to do better, like you always do, typical at a funeral. We got to do better, blah, 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 getting everybody numbers. But this time I was really on it. I've really been just texting people, reaching out, seeing how people are doing, letting them know I love them. Because, man, life is so short, it's so precious. And, no matter what you go through with your family, that's your family. You know what I'm saying? And if anything happens to my relatives, I'd be really sad because these are the people I grew up around. Then I also went to another funeral a month later. It was my brother's wife. I never even met her physically. And I never met his kids until the funeral. two of his kids were graduating from high school this year. They just graduated in May, and his other daughter is starting high school in the fall in September. So like, imagine, they're just now, and we bonded pretty well, but it was like I missed so much time, and I don't know. I'm just gonna be better, like the rest of my life going forward, spending time with my relatives, being around them. It's becoming a passion of mine. I just want to be around my people. Like, again, life is short, life is quick, it's precious. But let me get into it. The purpose of this podcast really is just exactly what it says: a safe space for men. I want it to be an area where I can come here and just discuss the everyday struggles of a man, the things we go through, mental health, good and bad, co-parenting, relationships. I'm big on fitness, fatherhood, something that's very like near and dear to my heart. I plan to interview people, men and women. Definitely women, because without a woman, there is no men. You know what I'm saying? So we wouldn't even be able to have this conversation about men. My safe space is, the main two things that really probably like on a daily basis that I do. Of course, is the gym. If you know me, I'm like work out every day. I believe in just being healthy and eating right as much as you can. I slip up every now and again. I love candy, but just the gym. It really helps for me. It helps my mental. Like, that's how I start my day. I get up, get my vitamins and everything, pre-workout, whatever I'm doing. Take my protein and stuff, and I get to the gym and I work out. I'm there like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on how much time I got, and that kind of like sets the tone for me. The other thing that's like my safe space is my children. I don't just, as a father, there's nothing better than like being around. I have daughters, so being around your kids and coming home to them, and especially like the smaller ones, because the bigger ones, like, they love me and they fuck with me and everything, but the small ones are the ones where I hit the door. They're at the top of stuff like, "Daddy, is that you?" Coming in from work or wherever I'm coming from, the gym, anything. If I sneak out to the gym in the morning while they sleep and I come back in, like, Jordan is big on that. When Emma's here, she's the same way. "Oh, Daddy, you're back." You know what I mean? They come down, they jump on me, give me a big old hug, like they didn't just see me, 3 hours ago or 8 hours ago or whatever. So that's my safe space. That's why my setup is what it is. My babies. I'm really passionate about it. That's all I care about, for real. Is just being with my children, and I just feel like fatherhood is like probably the most important thing to me, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Just talk about fatherhood, talk about the good dads, talk about the bad dads, my opinion on it, what I believe in firmly, what I don't believe in. Something that does bug me, I hate how Father's Day is like the least celebrated holiday. I think it's probably like not given the attention that it should be given, and it could be better. It really could be better. That was my daughter upstairs. You don't get enough attention. Go in the store, get like a little section, but that's another story. It's neither here nor there. Something my brother said to me, which I thought was like really interesting. He's like, "Ron, being a father is like a thankless job." And when you think about it, it really is. And so is being a mother, but it really is, because you kind of just wake up and you just do it because it's your job, it's your responsibility, it's your obligation, it's what you should be doing. Day-to-day routines, be it, just being active, doing drop-offs to school, pickups. I don't know what, other people do, but most of the dads I know are like really super active. They're like cooking for their kids, they're doing hair, they're doing all the same things that I do. So that's why it's when I see it, and I see other people saying like the opposite, like dudes aren't available and stuff like that. I don't know. I find it hard to believe. Not hard to believe, but I guess hard to understand. I will say this though, not everyone is equipped to be a father, at least not from the beginning, because I know I wasn't. My dad wasn't available to me. Well, my dad wasn't active, I'll say that. He was available, he just wasn't an active father. So I didn't have an example of, what a father was supposed to be. I did have an example of what a father wasn't supposed to be. And honestly, through that was kind of what keeps me, I guess, got me to be a good dad. And I don't know. I won't know how good of a job I've done until like the work is done, because my kids are still growing. I'm still fathering and parenting. So I kind of feel like I don't know. Like I know I'm gonna get there, but I really I believe in the work being done. But yeah, my dad wasn't available for one reason or another. You know, the '90s was different. I will admit that it was definitely courts and stuff like that. Everything is more geared to women, but I also don't believe there's no excuses. And you know, basically, my dad not being present taught me the importance of being present. A funny story: I had got a job back in like 2004, and I was a manager at like a restaurant, whatever. And part of the uniform was wearing a tie. I had no idea how to tie a tie, and it was like my boss was like, "What?" And it was crazy. He's like, "Your dad never taught you how to tie a tie," and I'm just like, "No." And it was crazy because my dad used to stop in there a lot, so naturally, you see my dad stopping in to visit me. If you don't know me, you would just think like, "Oh, he must be, you know, his dad. You know, his dad is a dad." And it's like, no, he's not really a dad. I mean, he's my dad, but it's not like that. So he taught me how to tie a tie, to the point where like basically wrap it around. If you tie ties, he tied it around my neck and he showed me how to like take it off without untying it. So I did that for like 2 weeks, and then ultimately I ended up figuring out how to tie a tie. But again, it was just like one of those moments where I'm like, had you done your job, I wouldn't be experiencing it. And for me, again, that's something that like I remember obviously, so it sticks with me. But yeah, he has a different point of view than me. He kind of like blames my mom and stuff like that. And I don't want to go too far into it because I'm probably gonna do an episode on that. Like that's really gonna focus on my dad. But yeah, there's a lot of like blame back, and I'm pretty sure my mom did things that you know she shouldn't have done. Because again, as a father, I see both sides of it, but I also just know that if you fight for what you want, especially for your kids, ultimately like it's gonna go in your favor. And you know, I don't think you know when it comes to that you really can't have any excuses. And I know some women out there, you know, the B word, but you just gotta do what you're supposed to do, and do what you need to do to be a part of your kid's life. And then, so what does an active father look like to me? Uh, Involved with school, physically available, also financials, because you have to provide for your kids, bonding with your kids, building an actual relationship with your child. And the way I build relationships with my kids is doing things with them, especially when they're small, watching movies with them and stuff like that, learning them, knowing what they like, making them breakfast, finding out what they don't like. Like I recently actually earlier this year found out Emma doesn't even like chocolate. She doesn't like chocolate. And I'm like, all this time I've been making, every morning I'll get up and I'll make like waffles and stuff for the house and pancakes, and I'm putting chocolate chips in them. I'm like, what would you? She's like, I just wouldn't eat it there. I'm like, why wouldn't you just tell me? She's like, oh, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, I'm glad you care about my feelings, but you wouldn't hurt my feelings, because you know she's small, so making her it's okay to speak your mind, and because you have a voice here in this house. You know, your feelings are important, but your wants and needs are important. But yeah, I also think that like the school part is really important, but as they get older, like when they're small, you gotta like be on them and you gotta know what they're doing and stuff like that. But as my kids have gotten older, I'm more just like checking grades, checking attendance and stuff like that, because those are the things you gotta look out for. But I go to every parent teacher, not everyone. If there's like 4 in a year, I'll go to 2 parent teacher conference just so the teachers can let me know what my kid is or isn't doing. And thank God for Gab. Like Gab is like really good. She's a really good human being. She's a really good kid. She's just really, I don't really get many complaints about her. And whenever a teacher does call, it's usually like a weird misunderstanding. Like she's never like disrespectful or anything like that, because she knows I'm super huge on respect. And my kids know like I don't fuck around, so you can't be out here misrepresenting me and your mom and being disrespectful to another adult. So when it comes to that, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky to have a good kid. Does being a father mean to me? So for me, like I feel like because they're watching me, so being a provider, being like the leader, and like showing them the way, showing them how a man is supposed to lead the household and be the, just like life, like they see me doing the work. Um, I teach them empathy. Like I try to get them to understand like because they have a lot of nice things, and you know, but I make sure they understand that like everybody doesn't have that, you know what I mean? And at someday you may go through a struggle, because like I've been blessed and fortunate enough that my kids have never really had to struggle or feel the struggle, because we've done a pretty good job of protecting them from anything like that. Even if we were going through like a bad financial time or anything like that, they never really felt that. I think that's really important, to not allow them to feel that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really imperative, and like I just think it's my responsibility to carry myself in a way that they want to carry themselves in, and they're gonna look for that in a man, and you know they're just gonna see me, respecting women and respecting my mom and my sisters and their moms and stuff like that. So they're gonna, again, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that's what they're gonna look for. Because I mean, again, I've seen people, I know women now that are in like really bad relationships because they had mothers or fathers. They had a mom that was getting beat on by their boyfriend, or if they saw their fathers like whipping their mom's ass. So they just basically, they think that that's some form of love, and I never really wanted that for my kids at all. I also believe like my child's manners and the way they carry themselves outside the house is gonna say a lot about me. It's going, if my kids are out being fucking disrespectful and talking shit to people and just out here being little menaces, they're gonna think, oh, that's what's going on in the house. So it's really important that my kids, when they not with me, they represent me the right way, because I come from the era of, if your neighbor saw you out in the playground doing something you had no business, they would beat your ass and then bring you home to your mom and your dad, and you get your ass whooped again. You know what I mean? Nowadays you can't do that because most of these little kids carrying guns, or people want to tell you you can't say anything to their kids, so now you gotta fight the parents, and it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. But I'm glad I came up in that era, because even now to this day I'm real proper with people. I just respect my elders. That's just how I was brought up. I don't really be wanting no smoke. You know what I'm saying? It's just a respect thing. I will say that I notice some guys, and it's a friend of mine is going through like a really nasty breakup right now. So a lot of guys think that all they have to do is provide. They think like the money is like, that's what they're supposed to do. And I try to get people to understand like that's only part of it. Obviously your kids need clothes and food and somewhere to live, and they need to be warm in the winter and cool in the summer. But a friend of mine, he's going through like a really bad breakup, and the first thing out his mouth was, "Oh, she can't do anything without me." And he was like, went into like the financial part of it. I pay for this, I pay for that, and I'm like, that's cool that come to the money, you're a good dad and you got shit together, but like it's other shit that's important, like your kids' mental health. Like because your kids have seen you with the same person for like the last 15 years, so are you checking on your kids to make sure that they're okay, they understand what's going on, because they probably don't. You know what I mean? All they know is mommy and daddy not together no more. So you gotta address that, and then also, again, with your girlfriend, like sometimes you gotta look at yourself and see why y'all broke up. I just don't think like I hate when people say or think like the money is like what makes you be a good dad, and I just don't. You can buy your kid all the Jordans you want, that is not going to teach them how to survive in this world, and how to be a good person and to be productive, and to lead a good life. It's just not. Like, you got to conversate with your kids. You got to see what the emotional side is. You got to see what's going on with them. I mean, that's how I handle my kids. Like, I talk to them, I ask them questions, I make sure they're okay. I try not to get too much in their business because I want them to have their own space, but I ask enough questions so that we have like honest communication, and we're building trust. Also, me with girls, I really, and I kind of do struggle with this part still. I learned to be gentle, and by that I mean you just can't attack everything like by yelling or even being physical, like when it comes to discipline, like you can't. They're girls, so uh, even though 99% of the time all I gotta do is yell and it'll shut everything down, but just being gentle, being patient with them, even when they make a mistake. They make a mistake, you don't always gotta like snap out or anything like that. Sometimes it's easy to like, and I know some people don't believe in gentle parenting, but sometimes you gotta be gentle and just talk it through and really get them to, because at least I know with my kids, when I talk to them and they like fuck up or whenever they do, talking to them like, hey, like, do you think that was a smart decision? All right, you don't. So why do you think it wasn't? Why do you think that was a bad idea? And okay, how can you do better next time? You know what I mean? Of course, there's a consequence, but it doesn't always have to be like, oh, no, motherfucker. You don't got to do all that. You really don't. Not with, at least not with my kids. Again, I'm blessed to have good kids. I got all girls. They listen. They're respectful. Something that I have done with my kids is I taught them the sidewalk rule, and it kind of backfired on me with Jordan. One day I was getting out of the car, getting groceries out the car. So like, I'm tired, I don't work like a double, whatever. Then I went to the market and picked her up. And then we're walking in the street, we're like 2 houses up. She said, Daddy, what are you doing? You're on the wrong side of the street. And like, I appreciated that she knew that, but I was tired. But I just thought it was funny. I'm like, damn, that's dope. Like, I'm like, oh, I taught her something at a young age, and like, she knew what it was. I'm also big on like Valentine's Day. I love Christmas, but to me, Valentine's Day is like, it's like our day. Like, my kids are to the day I die, they're gonna get candy, flower, roses, stuffed animals. They all get it, all 5 of them. They get it every year, no matter what. My oldest daughter still has stuff up here that she hasn't gotten in February because she's, you know, she's older, she's out living her life. But I don't know, it's just something that I like to do, to let them know like they have a man that loves them, and for them to understand how a man is supposed to treat them. And that's my way, one of my ways of showing them, and then just being consistent, because I keep doing it, they understand like the consistency, like that part of it, what's important. You know, they probably, the roses, they're gonna die, the candy they're gonna eat, the stuffed animals, they're gonna hang them up somewhere, whatever. But it's just the consistency part, so that way, you know, when they get in a relationship with whomever, that there's a, you know, there's a standard, and like whomever you decide to be with has to live up to the standard that your father has set forward. Something else that's important, I think, and probably just parenting overall, just building trust with your kid, trusting them to make mistakes, trusting them to learn from them. I remember like a couple months ago, Gabby had to take a bus to go like to her friend's house, and I was just like, oh, someone gotta meet you there, someone has to, you gotta walk, because she was like, the bus got her to somewhere and she had to walk like 3 or 4 blocks, and I was like, someone has to meet you there, because I was looking at my kid like she was still 10, and I had to realize, oh shit, she's 15 at the time, and like she has to do this because she needs to learn how to get around, navigate, and get through the city on a bus, because she doesn't drive, and I'm not always gonna be here to drive her or to Uber her, you know what I mean? So she has to do this, she has, you know what I mean? And now she takes the bus every damn where, like she figures it out. She gets on her phone, she looks at it like she's a really smart kid, and she's resourceful. So, but yeah, and I remember she was looking at me like I was crazy, like, hey, what are you talking about? Like, I got this. I had to understand my kids don't have to grow up the way that I did. When I grew up, I didn't have the things that they had at their disposal, so I was always in the bus. I didn't have anybody drive me anywhere. Same neighborhood, but I was a boy, so I think it was a lot more dangerous for me than it is for them, because they're girls, and also because I think a lot of the dangers are raised because we drive them almost everywhere, unless it's school or something. Like they take the bus to school and things like that. But I also didn't think they need the same parenting I did, because again, I was a boy, and like I was a good kid, but in high school, I that's probably where I started to go like a little to the left. So I don't think they need, you know, like what I was given, you know what I mean? Like my parents were a little more rough on me. I had uncles and stuff that were like ready to kick my ass if I fucked up and stuff like that. And I just don't think they need that same level that I had. They have different access, and they just don't have to deal with the same things I had to deal with growing up. fellas, I do want to say, like, I think it's a really bad idea to bring every female that you date around your kids. And again, it's about, like, your kids are watching you, whether you got daughters or sons, they're watching you. So if every time you meet someone new, you're bringing them around, it's because I see this a lot with some of my friends. You, you're teaching your son or your daughter, like, that's okay to constantly have a new auntie or whatever, Mr. this or Mrs. that, whoever it is. And, you know, you're also having them, like, get bond with people, start to like them, and then they're no longer around anymore. Then it's like, well, where is such and such? And it's like, oh, we're not okay anymore. And you know, that hurts the kid, because they don't understand that they're kids. Kids, especially girls, they latch on to people, especially women. Like, I understand that. So I would say, just don't bring every woman you date around your children. And just pay attention to that. My kids also, they see me doing work, so I'm really proud of it. They always see me working hard. They always see me willing to go above and beyond for them, and to, like, do whatever it takes to make sure that they have everything they need. And I think this, like, I know they knew it, but like, this is the first year I really realized it. Because on Father's Day, I got like a card from Gabby, and like, she wrote in and she like, thank you for everything that you do, and how, like, basically like how I move for them, and how I'm willing to do whatever for them. And like, I know she understands that. Oh, this was a Father's Day gift too. This little blanket that's here. You can see it on the video, but yeah, this is probably like the best gift I ever got, like, in life. This is dope. I might turn it into the backdrop. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, they see me doing work, and I'm pretty good about not letting them see me speak negatively about their mothers, whether we're in good terms or not. Like, I try not to do that in front of them, or I don't do that in front of them, because I don't want them to think it's okay to disrespect their mom. Because if they take my side, they'll feel like, oh, I can see whatever to my mom, because my dad got my back, and that ain't it. Real fast though, I want to talk about the bad and shitty fathers, because they exist as well. And for the life of it, I can't understand how anyone would want to bring life into this world and not be there for their child. Like, how can you as a man live with yourself every day, and you got kids out here that you're not taking care of, not being a part of their lives, not providing for, not doing for? So if you're doing it, get your shit together. I noticed they use every excuse in the book, always saying the mother is the problem. And in most cases, like some cases, it is. I've experienced anything you think that you can go through. I've been through it. And the moms are the problem sometimes, but you still got to do everything. Back to what I was saying, my dad, like, it's on you to do what you need to do to be a part of your child's life. But I see people that give off the illusion that they putting the effort into their kids, and they're not. They just don't. They're not taking no action. They're not filing no documents. They're not going to court. They're not trying to go to court. A lot of dudes don't want to file for custody or try to fight in custody because they don't want to pay child support. I'm gonna tell you now. Again, I've experienced it. If you want to fight for your kids, that's part of it. Unfortunately, because if you have a woman that's keeping a child from you, and you go down there and you file, custody or whatever, their initial reaction is going to be filed for child support, because they're going to try to mess with your pockets, because they understand you need money to pay attorney, you need money to show up, like, you have to. They want to mess with your life, That's just part of it. It'll take a couple years to fight the custody, but ultimately you will get it. And this is somebody that I can speak, because I'm living proof. I have custody of all my children except one, and primary direct custody, so whatever you want to call it. My kids live with me, everyone except my 8-year-old. So, and I'm fighting for that now. So it can be done. It takes time. It does take time, but it can be done. So when I hear dudes saying, like, I work around people, they have excuses. I live around people, and I have friends that are going through things. And I'm not saying that they're bad dads or anything like that, but some people they're worried about the wrong thing, and I feel like they're making excuses. Just gotta be accountable, especially if you know you're not being a good dad. You know you suck. You fucking dropping the ball. Like, be accountable, step up, and fix your ways. And again, I wasn't always I didn't always understand how important being a dad was. I had to figure it out, you know. But once I did, like, I didn't divert, I didn't go backwards. Like, you just gradually get better. It's just like a job. And that's the work. Like, the easiest thing is just to show up. It really is, especially, again, kids are small, they need very little, they only need attention. So the easiest thing is to show up. You know, you just can't bring life into this world and not want to be a part of their lives. So shout out to all the good dads. I want to give y'all flowers. Continue to maintain good mental health. You know, to my new dads, my advice to y'all is that effort is always going to be remembered. Do not focus on the material things. You'll never be the perfect dad, but just be the perfect dad for your kids. And again, providing is important, but it's not the most important thing. It really isn't. The most important thing is to just show up. That's really it. Who I'm plugging today? Oh, my plugs. So, plugging my girl Mel. Mel, she does like all my t-shirts. She did a lot for Gabby's party. She's outstanding. I'm gonna hype her all the way up because like I could send her something right now and she'll have a design by tomorrow, whatever it is I'm asking for, whether it's a shirt, a cup, anything, it doesn't matter. Like I needed a money box, I gave her colors. Like the next morning she sent me a picture of like, how you feel about this? Oh, cool, let's go with it. So you can reach Mel at Shop Melanation, ShopMelanation. I love to call her the creator of all things that need to be created. And she also has a podcast of her own called the Basic and Bougie Podcast. You can get that on all platforms. Mel's also a nurse. I need to get with her. I don't know the exact like definition of it, but she's doing like this hydration thing. I don't want to say thing, but she's probably gonna kill me if I say that. But it's like hydration. It's like IVs and stuff like that. Just follow her page, Nurse Melly. She's an independent nurse contractor. So you get with her. She's got a lot of really dope things going on. Every time I log online, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, any IG, it's something positive on all her pages. And again, just being around positive people, man, like that's really all I care about. But again, go buy a t-shirt, buy a cup, spend some money with her. Let's download a podcast. Yeah, get with her, man. She's good people. As far as myself, again, you can reach me on YouTube, Safe Space for Men, all one word. IG, Phil Brooks, PHI_Brooks, BROOKS_. And a Safe Space for Men, also on IG. That's a Safe Space _for Men, FORMEN. And you can also email me at safespaceformen@yahoo.com. Again, thank you for listening. I appreciate your time. I don't burnt up enough of your minutes. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.